Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am tonight's entertainment. Welcome to the Thursday late night edition of the podcast. And we're on episode number 40. This is something that I tried. Well, let's see. If we're on episode 40, and I've skipped maybe 3 or 4 times in that time due to whatever illness and things like that, then we're closing in on a year. 9 months, 10 months maybe. So, 40 episodes ago, when I started doing this, I the first time was just an experiment. You know, did you guys want a little extension of the Sunday podcast, but just me talking? And uh, obviously, you guys, enough of you liked it that I'm still here after 40 episodes. Um, hey, Kim, Brian, Darren. And the reason why I think is not it not because I'm so magnetic or anything like that. It's because the over the years the Lovecraft podcast turned into way more than just a podcast. It turned into a community, and I'm really happy about that. I am. I'm really happy about that. I think most of you feel that way too, or you probably wouldn't be here. By the way, watching live, let me know you can see me and hear me as always. The It's a tough week for Danielle because her kids take what's called the STAR test. Thanks, Brian. On this coming Tuesday, so she's trying to get them the final stages of preparation for that. So she's a little stressed, and for good reason. So I think that standardized testing is just such a mistake because not everyone fits in the same box, and you can't judge an education with tests. They can be good markers, but they put so much pressure on teachers, on students, when they should when learning, as cliche as it sounds, learning should be fun. It really should be. So, hey Suzanne, hey Marianne. All right, so anyway, I've got an important question for you guys. And the question is, would you guys like or use a forum to foster this community further? Um, if so, there's several possibilities. There's another chat that I can open up in the Patreon. Um, I think almost everyone listening tonight is a Patreon, if not everyone. So there's that possibility. Of course, we have the Facebook group, Lovecraft Facebook group, but that's more for. I don't think it's so much for the inner circle. It's more for, I don't know what it's suited best for, really. Um, but maybe a chat would be, for lack of a better word, more intimate. We could accomplish that with a separate chat in the Patreon. We could accomplish that with a Facebook chat similar to the Lovecraft podcast messages, where I alert you guys that there's going to be a podcast. But that all is if you guys are interested in it. And if you're not, that's totally fine too. But I thought I would ask, and either way is fine. We're all in this together. The world can be a really dark place. I'll never get political on the show, but I'll just say that the world can be a lonely place, a cold place, a dark place, and in any time. And it seems quite a bit darker lately, and I think that makes it all the more important that we as a community, as a tribe, you know, um, can meet and chat with each other and have a place to get away from all that. So, let me know. You can type in the side chat, or you can think about it and type something in the comments below later on. So yeah, whatever you want to do, just let me know. It's just a thought I had, and um, so all right. So I was looking at Darren. You'll like this. I was looking at the 24-hour time scale again because it's always so fascinating for me. And what I'm talking about is if you compress, there are a couple of them. One is where you compress the 13.8 billion years that the universe has been around into a 24-hour period and say, okay, this is when the Milky Way galaxy formed, and just gives you a better sense of deep time. What I have in front of me right now is a history of Earth in a 24-hour clock. So our planet's been around about a third of the age of the universe. So we've been around, I think, around 4.5 billion years. So consider that. It's easy to think of things like the animals like the dinosaurs as a hell of a long time ago on our planet. And yes, it was 65 million years ago. Geez. But in another sense, not so much compared to other things that have happened. So I want to go over this, and this is just, it gives you a sense of perspective. If I'm boring you, let me know. So if we have midnight, the Earth forms, and for the next 3 hours, remember, we're compressing 4.5 billion years into 24 hours. So there's a meteorite bombardment from midnight to about 3 a.m. Okay, at 4 a.m., origin of life, and at 5:30 a.m., the oldest fossils that we found. Now, a lot of shit happens behind the scenes for a hell of a long time until 2 p.m. So now we're hopping from 5:30 a.m. to 2:08 p.m. Single-celled algae come on the scene. At around 6 p.m., sexual reproduction. So now we're at 3/4 of the 4.5 billion years already. You get to 8:30, seaweed. 8:50, jellyfish. 9 o'clock, trilobites. The trilobites were featured in, by the way, in Scott Thomas's novel, The Sea of Ash. 9:52, land plants. Okay, not until 10:56 p.m. do the dinosaurs appear. And not until 11:39 p.m. do mammals appear. Humans appear at 11:58. Um, So we've been on this planet, relatively speaking. Our entire species has been on this planet in an eye blink, um, compared to everything else that happened. Yeah, let's see if I can find another one that'll. It it. The thing is, we don't live that long. 70 years, 80 years. Um, Here's another one for you. Compressing 13.8 billion years, that's the entire life of the universe, into 365 days, okay? On this time scale, an individual's lifespan is a fraction of a second. Jesus lived about 4.6 seconds before midnight, which midnight would be tonight, would be right now. 4.6 seconds ago, the dinosaurs died out in the early hours of December 30th. So, if that gives you a perspective of how long the Earth was around and how long before the dinosaurs even showed up, much less us. Um, yeah, one of my favorite movies, as I'm sure you've heard me mention, is The Man from Earth, and it's about a guy who, through just a quirk of fate, can't really die, and he's 14,000 years old. Now, comparing that to an individual who lives for 70, 80 years, even 100 years, a long life, 14, that's nowhere near 14,000, of course. But even that guy is just a fraction of a second in the time span of Earth, of the universe. And the universe has not been around very long at all compared to how long it will be around. I told you guys about a video a couple of months ago. Um, I always blank when I'm trying to remember the name of the video. Uh, that is basically the life of the universe. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. Smoke them if you got them. Let's see here. Yeah, here it is. Time lapse of the future. It's on YouTube. It's beautifully done. Time lapse of the future: a journey to the end of time. It was created in 2019, so it starts in 2019, and it's how many minutes long? It's 29 minutes long, and based on everything we know now, it gives us a really good picture of how the universe will end and how long it will take it to end. One of the things that really got to me in this watching this video, and I've watched it 3 or 4 times, is when the short film pointed out that life will only exist for just a fraction, for most of the time that the universe will exist. Life is only possible uh, just as a small percentage of that time. And it's really, I don't use this lightly, say this lightly, but it's a mind-blowing video. And for me, when you think about things like this, it's not just deep time, but how huge the universe itself is. And you have things like deep time, deep space, and it can make you feel really small and insignificant. And from one perspective, we are. But from our perspective, these are the cards we were dealt, and we've got to play the game of life as best as we can with the cards that we were dealt. I think about, I've heard and read over the years where someone who's an atheist, some religious people are of the opinion that if you're an atheist, then you're not going to be a good person because you don't think that there's a punishment for you. In other words, there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no reward to go for, and there's no punishment to avoid. But it's been said many times, the counter argument to that is, if the only thing keeping you from murdering your neighbors and keeping you from doing good is, if the only thing keeping you doing good and keeping you from evil is the thought of reward, then that's not a good reason. If you are an atheist or agnostic, whatever, and you think and you consider all the implications, to me, I think about the musicians on the Titanic. The ship was sinking, and they chose to do their best to help in the one way that they could, to make it a little bit easier. It was what they could do, so they did it. My feeling is we're all on this sinking ship of life. We're all going to die one day. Um, we're all going to be forgotten one day. You know, someone said that eventually all of our graves go untended, and that's true. But the kind of person I want to be is is the musician on the Titanic, where if we realize we are on a sinking ship, then we're all in it together, and we want to make things, life, as good as it can be for each other. So maybe that sounds cringy and painfully idealistic, but that's okay. That's the way I want to be, you know? Really, Kim, I didn't know, I can't remember that episode of Star Trek. I would, if you find out which episode that was, let me know. Love Star Trek. So let me know after you guys have a chance to give it some thought if you want me to come up with some kind of forum idea for us, okay? What else do I have to talk about here? Talked about, let's see here. Get rid of that. Well, I do want to ask you guys, how are you doing? How's your week going? I'm not having the best day, couple of days, not feeling good, and I'm not. I don't know how you guys see me, but I battle depression, and sometimes it's an easier battle than at other times, isn't it? And one thing I do remember though is that depression lies. Someone I read that somewhere one time, and it was an epiphany for me because of how true it is. When you feel like a failure because you're depressed, or you feel like what whatever negative way that you're looking at yourself, it's the depression saying that to you, and it's lying. We're all just we're all just trying to do our best. I think. Most of us, anyway, right? We're just doing our best. And we make mistakes, but hopefully we learn from them. Um, we all have to keep trying. You're blanking on it, Kim? No, the one with the giant amoeba. Right. Right, 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 right. You get into the Star Trek novels, Kim? There are some hokey ones, but there are a hell of a lot of good Star Trek novels. Federation is one of the best. If you haven't read that one, you should. It's an amazing book. Covers the original series timeline, the Next Generation timeline, and other timelines. Um, I love the way it starts. It starts with Kirk near the end of his career, and he goes to visit the Guardian of Forever. And it's just an amazingly written book. You pull it up here real quick. I've got it in print and on Kindle. There was a $1.99 sale one time, and I thought, yeah, I got to grab that. And the historian's timeline that they have at the beginning of the book is just great. I mean, if you're into Star Trek, this really plunges you into it. And it starts with a quote from H.G. Wells. Oh, Balance of Terror. Thank you, Kim. I'll check it out. The quote is, "Rest enough for the individual man, too much and too soon, and we call it death. But for man, no rest and no ending. He must go on, conquest beyond conquest. First, this little planet and all its winds and ways, and then all the laws of mind and matter that restrain him. Then the planets about him, and at last out across immensities to the stars. And when he has conquered all the deep space and all the mysteries of time, still he will be beginning." And starts in 2295. The first line is, "Kirk knew that his journey would be ending soon. He goes to visit the Guardian of Forever, and the Guardian has not spoken to anyone in decades." Um, at the end of that first chapter, I'll read you the last couple of paragraphs real quick. "Kirk knew his journey would be ending soon, and this far into it, he still did not understand what had driven him to take it, nor long to continue it. Alone, he whispered a single word to the wind and the dust. Why? And for the first time in 2 decades, the Guardian of Forever answered." I've read it probably 3 times over the years, and I'll probably read it again. Check that. I know I'll read it again. So, yeah, Star Trek nerds, take notes. I was just reading your quote, Kim. Don't destroy the one named Kurt. Oh, hell, too many books, too little time. Too many books to read, too many books to reread, which is a good problem to have. So, yeah, you guys are quiet tonight. Also been refreshing myself on Parkinson's Law. Um, reading from Wikipedia, Parkinson's law can refer to either of two observations. The one that we're concerned with is the law is work expands to fill the available time. Has sprouted several corollaries, the best known being the Stock-Sanford corollary to Parkinson's law. If you wait until the last minute, it only takes a minute to do. In 10 hours a day, you will have time to fall twice as far behind as your commitments as in a 5-hour day. But knowing that is not enough. You can use that to become more efficient. Um, the 40-hour work week is a good example. Do most jobs need 40 hours to get them done? No, probably not, but the time expands, the tasks expand to fill those 40 hours, right? Um, this is a really good page, and rather than read it all out to you, I'm gonna plop it into the side chat here. You can check it out later at your leisure. Kim says, I've gotten hopelessly hooked on Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Hmm, what's that about besides vampires? I know it's about vampires. And let's see what else here. This Sunday, we're going to have Sam Ham as a guest on the show. And this is the guy who wrote the screenplay for Batman '89. So this should be a lot of fun. He's also been writing the Batman '89 comics, which are a continuation from the first two movies, the Michael Keaton movies, and they're really good. They're still coming out. I think the last one comes out in May, but I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. So I was telling someone earlier that I considered not doing a show point and click slash and loot dungeon crawl. Oh, it's a video game. I was thinking it was a book for some reason. You play a knight wounded in battle and healing up in a convent. Okay. Yeah, because I've been having such lousy days. Health flare-ups, and um, the Davis family's going through something hard right now um, that I can't talk about, but keep your fingers crossed for us, okay? Um, I could use all the goodwill. We could use all the goodwill we can get. So, hey, Dave. That looks like an interesting game, Kim. Huh. What platforms is it available on? Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Well, there are worse things to be hooked on. Oh, you get turned? You turn into a vampire? Oh, gosh. Yeah. So, I'm probably going to wrap up shortly. Um, yeah, I wish I could talk a little bit more about what's going on right now, but it's not mine to tell. If you guys will keep your fingers crossed for us, then, like I said, we can use all the goodwill we can get. Um, yeah, it sounds fun. It sounds fun, Kim. Yeah, Logan's probably heard of it. I'll ask him about it. Thank you, Brian. And thanks for saying that I'm magnetic, but I don't feel very magnetic tonight. I am really looking forward to Sunday, though, to talking with Sam Ham about one of my favorite topics, Batman. I was, shoot, 1989. I was 18 years old and uh, fresh out of the cult, so I could go see movies, which I wasn't allowed to do. Many things, but one of many things I wasn't allowed to do in there. But I saw Batman '89 in the theater probably 5 times. I just could not get enough of it. I mean, that was the first live action Batman we had that was a serious Batman. That was like the comic books that I was reading. So, yeah, I loved it. How are you, Chaz? Kim says, Mike, a while ago I posted on Facebook about an odd little Goodwill find of a couple of McDonald's glass mugs with Robin on them. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the Michael Keaton Batman's good. Uh, I'll say Weird Week too, Chaz. Um, so I'm gonna wrap up. Sorry, it's a little bit short tonight. I guess we did go 30 minutes, but I will see you guys on Sunday, and let me know about on the forum thing. You can email me too if you'd rather. Lovecraftezine@gmail.com, and I hope you guys have a good night.